Checks by JoyNews shows the nationwide strike by the Health Workers Union is beginning to bite as some patients are left stranded at health facilities. The group is striking over what it calls poor conditions of service. It says the government has failed to review the conditions of service of its members as agreed upon in 2016, but rather that of their sister unions has been reviewed on 2 occasions. The leadership of the union say this blatant disregard for the plight of its over 40,000 members across the country has compelled them to take the decision to lay down their tools. At the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, members of the union have vacated their posts and offices are under lock and key. They also staged a protest pleading with government to heed to their call for improved conditions of service. Michael Papani was there and has been interacting with the striking workers and some stranded patients.
Paparazzi, go back. Go back. Go and try again.
Well, we'll bring you those visuals shortly. But this afternoon, there's a scheduled meeting between the Health Workers Union and government to resolve the impasse. Let's speak with Nenete Aglo, who is a Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Health Workers Union. Nene, I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. I'm aware of a meeting with government this afternoon. What exactly are your demands? Hello, Nene. All right, so we'll try and get Nene to join us back. I think there's a terrible connection there. But let's also bring in Ben Arthur, who is a labor consultant, to help us understand what the situation is right now. Ben, thanks so much for joining us. I'm sure you're monitoring the impasse between the Health Workers Union and government. Considering the essential services they provide, how would you recommend the matter is approached? Kindly unmute for me, Ben.
Let me take this opportunity to greet our viewers as well. Generally, it's become very expedient for government and organized labor in this sense, the Health Services Workers Union, to engage in negotiation. And for me, I've always said that, yes, you may resort to strike, but eventually it's a negotiation that will bring a solution. So it's good that they have accepted to meet government, and I believe that the meeting will be in good faith. At the end of the day, the strike will be called off. I must also appeal to the striking workers that, yes, after all the negotiations, they must also understand that the effect or the implementation of their negotiation can take retrospective effect. So definitely, there will not be too much need for continuing on the strike. If the idea is that, look, it has to take effect from January, from February, or from next year, whatever the agreement will be, that will be implemented. So there will not be the need to continue on strike. I must also say that when workers are going on strike, there's one critical provision which is mandatory under the labor law that they forget. Apart from that sector being essential services sector that is not entitled to go on strike, even though there have been various disputes over that entitlement, citing constitutional provisions here and there. But essentially, they must agree, the employer and the employee, the organized labor must agree to what we call minimum maintenance service. What it means is that even within the essential services sector, even if they want to go on strike, they must agree with the employer that there are certain categories of services and personnel who must be left at post. For example, if everybody locks their offices and they leave, and at the end of the day, you are back and there are no computers for you to work, there are no tables and chairs, they have all been stolen by others, and you have decided to go back to work, how are you going to work? If all your tools are taken away, how are you going to be able to work? So there is that provision in the labor law, yes, the tool of strike is to force the hand of the other party. We understand that it's part of mechanisms in industrial relations, but it does not mean that the relationship should be jeopardized. It doesn't also mean that the interest of keeping the work going on must also be jeopardized. So there's a need to ensure that even as they go on strike, there will be minimal maintenance of their services. So you cannot say that outrightly we've locked the hospitals and that nobody should be able to be giving care. You will not be able to say that because all of us are aggrieved. We should leave our security men out. Anybody who wants to go and take air conditioning units and steal them should be able to go there and steal. If there are blood in the refrigerators, you cannot say that because you are on strike, you are going to put off the electricity and then let every storage or every medicine go bad. So we have those provisions in the labor law for minimal maintenance. So I am reminding our health services workers union that it is this country that we all serve. Yes, press home your demand, go negotiate. But at the end of the day, we should not suffer so much damages because the essence of strike is not to institute damages. In fact, we don't have certain provisions in our labor laws that when a strike becomes illegal, we'll be able to really task people to feel the pinch of it. So we are pleading with them that even for a life lost, it will not be worth it. So there's always the need to negotiate. And for me, that is the way forward.
Thankfully, Nene is back on the line. Nene, I want to understand what your demands are, especially as you meet government for negotiations this afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, my sister. Good afternoon to your viewers.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Nene. I can hear you loud and clear.
Good afternoon, and a good afternoon to your viewers.
Please go ahead.
Yes, our demand is just simple. Our demand is just simple. We want government to sit with us so that we'll be able to finish with the negotiation of our conditions of service. That is our demand. It may interest me that we started negotiation from 2019 up to 2021. Now ask yourself, what kind of condition of service will be negotiating for 2 good years? My sister, we appreciate a lot for our employer, that is the government, for some time now. And we realize that they are taking us for granted. The government is deliberately doing what we are not benefiting. So our demand is that we are qualities so that we'll be able to conclude our negotiation on our conditions of service.
Right. Thankfully, that meeting is happening this afternoon, right? Hello, Ned.
We are going to the meeting with good faith. Yes, that meeting is happening this afternoon, and we are going to the meeting with good faith, and our expectation is that when we go, what we are expecting, we'll be getting it.
What would you describe as a satisfactory outcome of the meeting?
A situation where government, through these agencies or representatives, are ready to sit down with us and judge with us. That will make us satisfactory.
Okay, so Georgia with you, and what outcome would you accept from government?
We've tabled so many things on the table for which I can't disclose to the public, but we are expecting that government should meet us on a way. Even at a halfway, we'll be happy about it.
Okay, so I'm happy that you say you're going into the meeting with good faith. And so we're looking forward to something important coming out of the meeting. Ben Atta is still there for me. Ben, as they walk into this meeting, what should be the guiding principle?
Thank you very much once again. But Nene rightfully mentioned their position that they're going to go into that meeting with good faith. And in fact, under sections 97, 98, good faith actually means that they are not going to use coercion. So once they have accepted to participate in the negotiation, you never know to use coercion. That means that you need to call off the strike. So in industrial relations, you cannot tie the hand one party at the back. They call off the strike, enter in good faith to negotiate. But one of the assurances that when it comes to collective bargaining, organized labor can have is that yes, the negotiation in their opinion has been made, but at the end of the day, retrospective effect. So all delays would have been solved. You must also accept the fact that the government is alert on this point when it comes to the negotiations. In fact, they recently finished the weaker ground. There are others that are being handled. So I think that patience, that's my concern, is key. Going into the meeting with good faith is not to continue to be on strike and still going to negotiate.
All right, Ben Arthur is a labor consultant. I'm grateful for your time. And Nene speaks for the Health Workers Union. He's actually the Greater Accra Regional Chairman. And this is a meeting we are monitoring for you, and we'll bring you the outcome in our subsequent bulletins.